Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Working on this Wizard, about done with it. Just tidying up a few things. I was going through the score reels, making sure all the scores worked, and I noticed that the 10 points wasn't dinging the bell, wasn't ringing this has got a chime unit. I'll show you here. So it's got the 3 chime bars. The little chime bar is a 10-point one, and that was not ringing. I figured it'd be a really simple fix. It's the ball falling back down. So on this game, I just turn on the light here. See if that's a little bit better. This is the 10-point relay, and when that connects, it does a 10-point score reel. It also runs the match unit, and that switch there closing, that runs a chime, but it wasn't. So question is, what's wrong with it? So it's been about an hour and a half trying to trace this one down. It was kind of difficult to find. It ended up being really stupid, but I'll tell you what I did first. One of the first things I did was, I cleaned that switch, made sure that that switch was clean, look at all the solder joints, make sure there's just not a wire hanging loose. I came back down here to the chime unit, that coil there on the left. I measured the resistance on that coil, make sure it was good. It's 52 ohms, same as the other two, so that was good. Again, looked at the wires, make sure the wires aren't just hanging loose. Looked at the plug right underneath the well, you can't see it, I can't do it with one hand. It's right under that odometer there. Cleaned those again, make sure those are all making contact. It was all good. Got over here and looked at the schematics. There's the 10-point chime solenoid. That's the one that's not operating. The ball is still playing. The only thing on there is the switch on the 10-point relay, which I was just looking at. And, I cleaned that switch, made sure it was good. So that's all there is. So it's between the ground, this yellow line, and the hot line over here, which is, well, in any case, actually what's important here, if I can get it to focus, we got a red and white one on the switch. So red and white go into yellow. And so go back here, try to find that. And it's really hard to see the colors, but it is, I deduced it was the most red and white looking one. It's this one right there. It's more like kind of a brownish gray, kind of like all the rest of them. One thing nice about these Bally schematics, though, so basically what I ultimately had to do is make sure that wire is, because there's other connections that are not shown in the schematics. It goes to this Jones plug right here, that's one of them, and then it goes down to the cabinet, and then it goes through the cabinet up to the chime. So there could be a break in continuity anywhere. So I got my multimeter out, hooked alligator clips, put one end of that to the chime down there, and one end up to this switch. I did not have continuity, so there was a break between, because that's supposed to be a continuous wire from that coil down through the Jones plugs and down to there. Well, you're thinking maybe it was the Jones plugs. It was the Jones plugs. I had already cleaned them, and it turns out, let me show you on the schematics here real quick. This will help you when you're trying to trace this stuff down, at least on the Ballys. There's the 10-point chime, so it's red and white. It also gives you the number 15-6. 15 is just red and white. The -6 is the sixth red and white wire in the game. But you can use that 15.6, and there's a map here of all the Jones plugs. So if you find 15.6, it's right there. So that's the cabinet inserts plug. So it's the big plug. It's the top left, second down. So that's where that wire plugs in. And that's really handy if you're trying to track these down, because, like I say, the colors, they end up getting all faded out and they're hard to see. So that'll help you find it. So, again, hooked my multimeter, I hooked one end up to the switch, and it's this big one, second down. It's that one there. So that one there that looks like red and yellow, that's actually, this is the red and white one. You pull it off of here. Turn the light on here again. And that wire there, which is quite a different color, that's also red and white, but it's more washed out and faded. The problem was this green and yellow wire. It was sillily, it was tucked up underneath, and it was holding these things, these prongs out. So that green wire was just jammed up underneath there, and that's all it was. It wasn't anything serious. I mean, it took, once I saw it, it took about 2 seconds to fix it, but you know, it wasn't what I expected it to be. It wasn't where I expected it to be. That's why I usually, the EMs always start with, you know, going through the junction plugs. Just rule this stuff out, because it like I've shown right here, a little simple thing like that took me an hour and a half to dig through and find it. Whereas cleaning, and when you start, you know, usually these games, depending on how long they've been sitting, the Jones plugs are cruddy and nasty, and they need some work. So just get those things cleaned up and track them down. But when you're running down and you're running out of options, you end up having to track down continuity between points, and that's not much fun. It takes a lot of time, and but that's where you're at sometimes. But anyway, the good news is we had the chime, so that's good. Anyway, this game will be ready for Tuesday, I believe. Look forward to playing it.